YouTube, we are in the top 16 of the Meta Weekly with the new Banlist heroes are fully unleashed. We saw them in the earlier rounds, clap up Tenpai, so hopefully they are in the top 16. If not, by watching as long as you can, that greatly supports these videos. And with that said, Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Let's activate the Wings of Light, searching for our Supreme King Gate while we already had a copy in our hand, so that would probably be an Ash bait. We didn't take the bait on that Ash mate as we imperm negate the Joker. Generally, when you have impermanence, most people believe that you should save it for Electromite because they're going to be summoning that Electromite if they're pendulum summoning. We're going to use the Supreme Gate Magician, set up the King Zero. We're going to trigger the Star Pendulum Graph to search our deck, and the Ash Blossom says, no, you will not. Now, what can we do from there? We're going to Supreme King Gate Magician because we have the Gate Zero in the field, special summon, search our deck for the Light Worm. We have already committed to our normal summon, and now we're making Beyond the Pendulum. Through an Imperm and a Veiler, by the way, that's crazy. We have Negate Anything, plus Baron to Floor, Negate Anything. And spells cannot be activated as long as we control Exceed the Pendulum. Oh my Jesus, let's go. So can't Nadir Servant. And what happens if we use low to set up a spell that's going to be summoned from the deck? And yeah, summoned. You cannot activate spell cards. So if the spell card's already face up, you're not activating the card, you're activating the effect of a spell. It will then be okay, it plays around it. Low, getting low, set up from the deck our Blessing of the Voiceless into a Relinquish Anima. We're now going to trigger this effect. As I said, it works under the Spellcaster Village. So the Baron de Flor will just say, all right, I negate. Do we negate the Anima, given Baron de Flor that good suck, though? Anima is a Spellcaster. What? Okay, so now we can activate spells. All right, does this look like a spell? It's like a fiend. What the hell? Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon is going to negate the Elder Entity Entis from popping a card on the field after being sent to the grave through the Nadir Servant. We're going to Dogmatica Maximus, banish from the graveyard, come forth and summon. Now we're going to get good suck, and thank you for that Baron de Flor, which should have not been summoned in that position. You got to summon on the left, middle, or right. Now the Elder Entity Entis is not a hard once return. It can be activated again as the Herald of Arclight is channeling blocked by it, so it does not get Ash, searching for our Prayers of the Voiceless to chain Exceed the Pendulum to reborn a monster from the grave. That does nothing though, right? That is not going to do anything. This is no disruption. As we now Ritual Shokan into our Skull Guardian, if we have a low in the graveyard, which we do, it's going to reborn and give the ability to be able to negate anything with our Skull Guardian as it also searches. The Supreme Gate Magician is on summon, adding a card from the deck to the hand. Sure, that's not going to be doing anything during the opponent's turn. But I don't think we will be lethaling. We are in main phase 1. We have 7,100 damage in the field here. Saphira, discard, send for the deck a ritual spell, plus searching for our Sarvis, making us even more protected from being targeted by card effects, which the barrier that we don't have would be further protecting us from, as we then make our Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon. Now, there's a big problem here. Pendulum Graph, this triggering is not the problem, but we're going to negate and destroy, stopping it from adding from the deck. And we're about to get to that problem if we survive this battle phase. Goodbye to Exceed the Pendulum. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Now, huge problem, we now floodgate ourselves. If you control no spellcasters, you cannot activate spell cards because of your own floodgate. You what, mate? And they have an Omni Negate. Negate anything, can't activate. Well, now we do, We have it. We're going to burn for 300, Shokan into Little Knight. Now we can't activate. Little Knight on summon is going to not be doing anything. We're just going to kill ourselves. Yep, that's the correct play. Thank you very much. Hayo Rin, we almost successfully floodgated. Anima came in clutch. Damn, Anima being a spellcaster, that was great. Let's go. Foolish Burial, we're going to Ash negate the Foolish Burial. Now we have another Foolish. So we ate that Ash, that was bait. Dragon Shrine, doing exactly what we were going to do anyway. Send from the deck the Supreme Dragon Dark Worm, special summon, activate, search our deck for a Supreme Gate Magician. Now hold up, I see anti-Tenpai. I see Tenpai hate in Thunder of Ruler. Would you play this in your deck? Let's say you're playing 3 Triple Tactics Thrust to search for a talent or any other card that you want, but you put this 1 copy in your deck. During your opponent's standby phase, you activate this card. There is no battle phase this turn. That's something. So last time we had 2 Omni Negates plus the Spellcaster Village. That wasn't enough. So instead, we now have 1 Omni Negate plus 4 Monster Negates plus Masquerena, Little Knight Banish. So that's 7 disruptions instead of just 2 Omni Negates. So from 2 to 7, plus we still have the Secret Village where while we control the Exceed the Pendulum, you cannot activate spells. And it looks like you have no way to make Anima. So you can't activate Barrier, you can't activate Call by the Grave. You are screwed. What the set 4 pass? Masquerena, Chain to Exceed the Pendulum. We're going to Little Knight, banish one of those back row cards. Come forth and Shokan. Let's go. And the Thunder of Ruler will just be negated by Baron to floor, or we're randomly going to banish it. Nope. We go for the barrier, take that barrier out. Sarbis is only protecting your monsters from being targeted by card effects, not your back row. Searching for a harmonizing here. Yes, sirree. Let's go. Activate the Thunder of Ruler in the standby phase. Baron to floor says, hell no. You're not skipping the battle phase. I don't care how much you hate Tenpai here. We will be taking this into game number 3 as both of those backrow cards are completely non-activatable. Goodbye to the Call by the Great Finger. Pendulum Shokan, over 15,000 damage on the field. Oh my gosh, please, just go to the battle phase. We now access Code Talker. Boost it up. Let's go. Thank you very much. Game 3, you will no longer be able to turn 1 set up that Spellcaster Village. Imperm, Negate, Diviner, Mate. We have no Sarvis, no Trias in the hand, absolutely nothing. Negate, and that did take up our normal summon. Nadir Servant, Ash, Blossom, Negate. And what did I say about Triple Tactics Thrust? If you were playing against Tenpai, you thrust, set the Thunder of Ruler, skip their battle phase, go back to your turn. I was talking about playing Dimensional Barrier, but they're thinking that the Thunder of Ruler is better than Dimensional Barrier. So that is the spicy tech you want to play if you are losing to Tenpai Dragon. We're going to Almirage into Secure Gardna. Okay, then end our turn. We just have Impermanence. This is not looking good for Animan. Ain't no way. We're going to be summoning the Double Iris, but Pendulum had absolutely no play. What the heck? Pendulum super bricked it up. Nothing even worth using our Imperm on. All right, we got our low getting low, setting up the barrier from the deck. We're going to be searching our deck for a Sarvis Dragon as we then return 2 spells back to the deck to summon our Sarvis Dragon. To battle we go 2650. And what's going to happen here is when the opponent activates a card effect that's outside the damage step, we could chain the Sarvis to summon a Skull Guardian from the deck, which will then allow us to negate anything. Let's do it. So we have Negate plus Imperm Negate plus Ash Negate, triple disruption versus Hyorin's doing nothing. What is going on? Nadir Servant again, send an Elder Entity and Tis, pop a back row card in the field. We could, of course, finger it. Let's finger the Elder Entity. Why would we finger it when we're already getting destroyed? Well, they could summon and they could send another copy from the action next to the grave. So we make sure to stop that. Chain Max C. And we could Ash it if we want to. That's exactly what we're going to do. Negate, we could then finger that Ash Blossom so that we could hopefully get out of this bricked hand as we desperately need these draws. Now, Voiceless Voice is a really good deck because you can max see them hard turn 1, and they could still just very simply make a Skull Guardian and have a bunch of disruptions right through it. This deck, similar to Centurion, does not lose to max C. Definitely a massive benefit. Goodbye to the Entis. 4,100, 4,150 on field. Not enough for game yet. We're going to be searching for Saphira. Saphira can give us game. As we send from the deck to the grave to search for our Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, we're now going to Ritual Shokan. Come forth. Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, putting us at how much damage here? We are now at 6,850, exactly lethal damage. Low was needed. That 50 damage for game. Begin. D Shifter right away. It's only activatable if you have no cards in the graveyard. So it's got to be one of your first plays, or you could chain it to a spell such trap card activation before it's sent to the grave. Special Summon Unicorn, search our deck for the birth. We're going to Theosis, this is when you Ash. The problem is when you're playing against a non-Kashtira deck, you don't know if you're playing Kashtira or not. Otherwise, I would say to not Ash the Unicorn in most circumstances. In this matchup, this is a great Ash. Negate, stop the summon from a Fenrir from the deck, and then Fenrir would search for another monster. They could then get their cards banished, then reborn them with the birth. We're gonna look at the extra deck and rip out an access code talker. Now, the Phantom of Yubel is semi-limited. We could start ripping those out from the extra deck. Maybe get one out and then get the other as they make a single play. Maybe I would have gone for that. Dark Beckoning Beast, Imperm, negate the Dark Beckoning. We could chain Shavara chain pop, and then we would not have to get negated. We would still get the Spirit Gates, but the Dark Beckoning would then be banished, so it's not like we could reborn it. We then have Grave Scormer, Special Summon, Nightmare Pain, pop in the Spirit of Yubel, searching for another Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel, summon a Yubel from the deck, Shokan into Lord of Yama. Lord of Yama would add a Shavara from the deck or graveyard to our hand. We're going to pop the Yubel instead. Yubel, summon a Terra Incarnate. As we further link this up into a Soul of Anguish, which we now can't make an access code talker with, so maybe access code talker was the correct play. Access code talker, wipe up the back row, and then I think Kashtira would lose. Now, does Kashtira still lose? Because we have Phantom of Yubel, so we are able to negate a monster effect. We're gonna activate Cosmic Cyclone, banishing that Nightmare Pain off of the field here. We do have the birth to birth our Unicorn, search for a Theosis. We now can't do that because of the Soul of Rage. Soul of Rage, link off into a Muckraker, which could discard a card to reborn from the graveyard, but we have nothing in our grave to even reborn. I cannot believe that hard anti-graveyard opened up Macrocosmos, D-Shifter. We're gonna beat Kashtira? I mean, it's still early to say. We can't say that we won yet, because they could top deck a Fenrir, top deck a Unicorn, top deck a Birth. There are a lot of great cards we could rip off the top, and Maxi is not one of them. In fact, Maxi is not even activatable with the face-up Macrocosmos. It can't send itself to the graveyard, no activation. We're not tribute summoning for the Psyframe Driver, just continually poking with our Phoenix. Off the top of the deck, a Rise Heart, which could banish from the deck a Theosis, which could then trigger to grab a banished card back to our hand. As I was saying, there are so many cards that the Kashtira deck could have top decked into, which would then meet our end. As it did, let's hop into game number 2. Let's get to it. Let's Nightmare Pain activate. Soul of Rage could link off with an opponent's monster into a Little Knight Banish, into another Little Knight Banish, into a Monster Negate with the Poly USA ×2, plus another Monster Negate with the Phantom of Yubel, plus a pop with the Escape. So we have about 7 disruption. And then let's toss in the Ash Blossom in hand, giving us 8 total disruption. But we have Raigeki. Let's see what's good. Maxi in the draw phase, activate Dimensional Fissure, and then we follow up with the Raigeki. So our cards, instead of being banished, we're going to use the Escape, pop the Soul of Rage, take out Dimensional Fissure, and then trigger Yama to reborn the Soul of Rage back. Now, we do lose Apollo. We do lose the Phantom of Yubel. With this reborn, how many disruptions do we have left? What we're only going to have left is simply link with a Special Summon monster into a Little Knight Banish, into a Little Knight Banish, and an Ash Blossom, so we still have 4 disruptions as our cross-out designator negates that Maxi trying to draw per Special Summon, which we were about to do right now, into another. So that Maxi was a pot agreed. Negate that draw too. Ending the turn. We have no play. Brick Tira is here, bricking hard on Theosis, which needs a Kashtira to activate on, which we have 2 of, and then the Birth, which is to reborn a banished or engraved Kashtira, which we have none of. So what the hell is going on? And when we finally get a Kashtira to activate the Theosis onto, we could chain Soul of Rage to link off with it. Off the top of the deck, we all love when going second, or for the follow-up, we draw Maxi a turn freaking late. Nightmare Pain, popping the Soul of Rage, searching for the Squirmer, trigger the Soul of Rage, add back the D-Lotus from Engraved to our hand, additional summon, not additional, but regular summon a Spirit of Yubel, special of the Squirmer, pop Spirit of Yubel, summon a Yubel, Yubel and Squirmer into a Lordiyama. Lordiyama on summon, activate, return the Shavar engrave back to the hand. Squirmer banish, summon from the hand or grave. Chain Max C, Chain Ash Blossom. I don't think so. Now you can triple tactics talent, look at your trash bricked hand and rip something out of it. That's exactly what we were doing. Look at your opponent's bricked up hand, choose one brick to return it back to the deck for them to just redraw it. 1-in-1. We know the Mad Lad is main decking Dimensional Fissure. Macro Cosmos, there's no side deck. We can't side deck in Cosmic Cyclone. If we were to look on over at the TCG tier list for the side deck, what are the most prevalent cards to help keep Floodgate cards in check? Well, Cosmic Cyclone is the #1 most side decked card. That is wild. Followed by Dimensional Barrier. That's kind of insane too. I guess you're ready for when you get paired up against Tenpai Dragon, just start side decking in your Dimensional Barrier. On average, they play about 2 of them. And then you could, Purelio, and you're going second, side in 3 of them. Does this look, I'm going to leave it up to you. Does this look healthy? Does this look like a healthy use of side deck? Floodgate, 3 Max Cs, another Floodgate, a card that's just for winning in time. They can't tell you that or they'll get banned. All right, let's go. Let's go. Rise Heart banishing the deck. Normally you want to special summon the Rise Heart, but you have to control a Kash Chira in order to do so. Now the card we banished will be the Unicorn to then return it back onto the field with our Kash Chira Birth, searching for Theosis. We held onto the Ash for that Theosis, and just like that, negate. Very well done. We could Scareclaw Kash Chira, banish from the graveyard to get that extra body on the field. We're going to look at the extra deck again, ripping out the Access Code Talker, which tells me if you're not playing Access Code Talker in your Yubel deck, if it's worth ripping out continually back to back with the Unicorn, there's got to be something to it. You probably should be playing it. Now we're going to be ending with a Shang-Ri. So what's going to happen here during the standby phase, we're going to be summoning a Fenrir from the deck. We're going to call by the grave, finger that Maxi. I do not think so. And our disruptions will be Ash Blossom plus Fenrir. After a monster effect, we're going to be able to banish a face-up card on the field, banishing it face down. Whoa, go for Unicorn instead. Where's the other Fenrir? We'd rather Unicorn than Fenrir. That's interesting. Now, there's another form of disruption here that's quite underlooked, I think, and that is the Birth. The Birth itself, after a spell card or spell effect activation, if the controller Kash Chira, we now get to banish 3 cards in the graveyard face down, banishing the D-Lotuses, Squirmer, and Yubels in the graveyard. That could swing the duel. We got the Throne searching for the D-Lotus. As we D-Lotus it up, tribute to summon from the deck our Spirit of Yubel. We're going to then use the Unicorn, looking at the extra deck. Do we rip a Yama out? Yama is probably a 1 of in our extra deck. Ripping out a Soul of Anguish. So no Access Code Talker. You now can't link off with my monster. Shang-Ri locking up 1 zone here. As you then Nightmare Pain, pop the Spirit of Yubel, searching for the Squirmer, trigger Spirit, trigger the Throne. And what I say, banishing from the graveyard is just going to be a big deal as we just lost our D-Lotus and Spirit of Yubel. We're going to summon 2 bodies onto the field though. Terra Incarnates and a Yubel. Shang-Ri is going to be locking up another zone. We're locked into only 3 monsters only as we now make our Yama. And we can't make a link monster next to Yama because both zones it's pointing to are completely locked up. Let's discard the Nightmare Pain, reborn the Squirmer, as the Spirit Gates adds back the Nightmare Pain because we control level 10, as we now make a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon is going to be banishing the Scareclaw Kash Chira as we further climb up into a Muckraker. Squirmer is going to banish to reborn from the graveyard our Yubel. Pot of P, banished just 3. Come to me. What is good here? We want an impermanence. Thank you very much. Now, the Shang-Ri, you banish a card face down, so that triggered the Shang-Ri. Ain't no way, we got 3 cards locked up. Why didn't we continue to lock up the monster zones, though? As you now make a Soul of Rage, we could have locked up right behind the Muckraker, and then we couldn't have made that Soul of Rage. As we now make a Phantom of Yubel, reflecting 1,500 battle damage because of Pot of P. Now back to you. As you now escape of the Unchained within the draw phase, taking out the Kash Chira Birth, triggering Yama to reborn from the graveyard the Soul of Rage. We do have the Unicorn, which will again, for the 3rd time, look at the extra deck and banish a card face down. He didn't use his spell to be negated with Imperm. What do you mean? What happened? We're going to imperm, negate that unicorn, the effect of looking at the extra deck, and also we're negating the ability to later look into our deck and grab whatever Kash Tira spell or trap we want, or spell that is. We're going to Phantom of Yubel in the standby phase, negate the Shang-Ri, attempting to summon a Fenrir from the deck. It ain't happening here. As we pop a Spirit of Yubel to then summon a Yubel onto the field. Now, with the Soul of Rage within the main phase, we could link off the opponent's monster, but I don't think we have anything to link off into. We could link off into Little Knight. We could link off into Milkraker. We could link off into that's it. We can't link off into a Yama because they have to both be Fiend. We can go to a Phoenix, I guess, if you want to Phoenix it up. You let them Zeus? They're Zeusing. What the? Send the field to the graveyard. Shavara chain pop the Soul of Rage, which if we have a Yama in the graveyard, it will trigger. I guess you want to get Shavara in the graveyard? We trigger the, okay, we're triggering the Soul of Rage to add a Fiend back to our hand. That's what we're doing, but we didn't do it. What is going on? Soul of Rage states, if destroyed, target a Fiend in the graveyard, add it to the hand. Was there nothing worth adding? We didn't want to add. No, we just, that's it. There's no D-Lotus in the graveyard, no Squirmer to add back. Holy moly, yeah, we need a Zeus emote. Come forth, Phantom of Yubel. I'm gonna work on the gif of it doing its crazy thing. Reflect 3,000 damage, 3,500 plus imperm. Now back to you. Let's go. It wasn't destroyed, it was sent to the graveyard? What are you talking about? We activate Zeus, we change Shavara. It says Soul of Rage was destroyed, right? Destroyed, it was destroyed. All right, end our turn. We do have Stop a Monster effect. Let's get to it, let's do it. Nightmare Pain, imperm is going to negate. You what, mate? No second Zeus. So a lot of you are like, where's the second Zeus? Zeus is unlimited. Do we play more than one Zeus? But you also have to battle. And if you battle to make the second Zeus, you're gonna take 3,000 damage, right? Did he swing in? I was answering someone in the chat. What happened here? He drew, he sent, then he drew, he attacked. Oh my gosh, yeah, wait, what the heck? I missed that. I freaking missed him attacking because I was answering the chat on something stupid. 3,000 damage reflected to summon a second Zeus, but there was no second Zeus. Okay, listen. This looks very similar to Typhon. They look the same, all right? We thought this was a second Zeus. We could be playing a different version of Kash Tira where maybe we do play a second Zeus and we accidentally took it out for the tournament, right? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Damn. Okay, scoop it up. Ain't no way. Yubel defeating Kash Tira. Now, is it standard for Zeus to be played at more than one in Kash Tira? Let's see. 29% do play two. Yeah, a lot do. No, the majority don't, of course, but yep, that is definitely something you'd want to do. Let's hop into a new match. Are you ready? That's sick. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, welcome back. We have Goblin Biker. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Goblin Biker has a lot of unreleased cards that in the future, the deck will become a lot better. At the moment, it's not there, but still, we got top 16. Let's get to it. So with the Gabunga, we're waiting if an Xyz material is detached off of any of our monsters, it will trigger to target a monster on the field and then suck it up as a material. So that's one disruption. The Xyz armor is going to go into the Dark Knight Lancer, which will then be able to suck up a monster in the field. That's another disruption. We have the Gossip, which is going to be able to negate a monster. We do have the Ash Blossom, which will negate an interaction with the deck. That's 4 disruption. And then is the Goblin Biker Grand Pileup going to be that great? You're going to summon a Goblin Xyz, which would be the Crazy Beast. The Crazy Beast will be able to target a back row card and then attach it. So you could deal with back row. I'll count this as 4 disruption until I see something crazy with it. Let's go. Book of Eclipse. Well, how could you ash this? Because Book of Eclipse says your opponent draws during the end phase. Well, I don't want to draw in the end phase. I'm going to negate. Well, I'm going to finger your ash, mate. Well, I'm going to chain the Grand Pileup. Okay, so what we summon's going to be face down. Also, what we summon's going to be face down. We're gonna detach a material before it goes face down, even though a card while face down could still be detached. The newly summoned card, this is not gonna trigger. So it triggers on summon to reborn a monster in the grave, but on resolution of the eclipse, it's gonna be face down before it could even activate. Oh boy, everything's face down though. I don't get this. What's going on? We lost to a full book of Eclipse. This is crazy. Now we're gonna draw 4 cards during the end phase if every card gets flipped face up. So we do wanna make it a priority to unflip them by destroying them, get rid of them. Elder and Hawk, we're gonna be detaching the material to reborn from the graveyard, but this is not a form of disruption. We just got 5 bodies. Okay, sure. We're gonna ulti Hawk, reborn 2 of our banish Ritual Beast, searching our deck. We have already used up our normal summon, grabbing an inheritance. We're now going to Hawk, banish a Petalfin, inheritance, search our deck for a Ritual Beast, and then discard a card from the hand. We got Laura, discard the Pengu. As we now banish the graveyard to summon a Nochi, now our other Ritual Beast cards cannot be targeted by card effects, as the Laura, when banished, summons a Pengu from the deck, sending a window from the deck to the grave, as we then make an Ulti Kimu. Ulti Kimu will allow the additional summon of a Tamer Laura, but the Call by the Grave is going to finger the Hawk in grave, which was already special summoned this turn, so we were not gonna interact with that. No, we were not. We banished from the graveyard summon. This is when we finger. So you would target the card in grave with the Laura, then you could finger the card they're targeting so it does not get reborn. They'd lose that +1 body if you wanted to get fingering. Come forth, Ulti Hawk. Ulti Hawk is going to be reborning 2 monsters back in the field, a Tamer and a Beast. Spiritual Beast Tamer Laura, she's both. She goes both ways. You could ride her or she rides. The Petalfin can only be ridden. As we then make an Ulti Ray. Ulti Ray can perform an additional summon by adding back a banished card. Add back a Banished Ritual Beast to additional summon the When special summon the banished Tamer Laura. As we Petalfin banish from the hand to spin a card in the field back to the hand. Get that Xyz monster into the extra deck. Little Knight's going to ensure that we do not get to attack directly if we were to activate its effect if it was used with an extra deck monster, which we didn't. Nemesis Flag returned back a banished card to then search for a Protos. We're now going to further link this up into an Apollo USA triple monster negate, banish 3 different attributes from the field or grave to then summon Protos. Protos called Dark. Gabonga is dark, right? Gabonga's light. What do you call against Goblin Biker? What the heck is even going on right now? So we attacked into this Mad Lad, which it didn't get destroyed. If a monster would be destroyed by detach, okay, what was the other effect? How did this get protected? We attacked into Gossip. Oh, Gossip was too big to be destroyed. And then we're now swinging into the face down Goblin. We're gonna full armored Xyz, target the Crazy Beast, okay? And it is not destroyed here. The Crazy Beast is now going to suck up the inheritance. Thank you very much. What the hell is going on? Protos wiping out the monster, huh? Eclipse, nothing flipped up in the end of the turn. Now, dark monsters cannot be special. We can't Little Knight. We can't Typhon. That's pretty much it. So calling dark with Protos was not good. Calling light would have been better. Now, if you Protos call light while you have a light monster, you lose your light monster, right? You don't if you have a Laura in the graveyard, which we do. We could banish it to protect the Nochi from being destroyed by your own Protos, and then they can't summon lights. We're now going to use the Grand Pile-Up to suck up a Kimu from the graveyard. It's essentially like a Deity Crow. As we then special summon our Tracker while we control level 3. Gabonga is a light. We don't care about that Protos mate. Search our deck for the Charger. And the Gabonga is going to be able to now target a card to suck it up. But the Apollo is going to be a negate. Now, we could have chain link blocks the Gabonga. It looks like we purposely are chain link blocking to protect the Charger. The Charger is searching from our deck. So we're going to not, oh, the Apollo is reduced to 0, by the way. So even though, if you wanted to do that, you would chain link block that. We're going to chain Ulti Ray to banish a card in the field. So what we're doing is we're targeting the Nochi to banish the Charger, and then we chain Nochi to summon a banished Ritual Beast so that it does not get banished. There you go. You target it to suck it, I target it to banish it. And your Charger, so you're going to have the lessened on the ability to be able to rank 3 Xyz. Goodbye to Charger. You will be searching for your spell or trap though still. Another Grand Bash, sure. Let's activate the Grand Entrance. Wait, Bash and Entrance? That's the other one. What the heck is that one? We have Terror Top here, come to us, take Tomborg. As you then activate the Bash. I don't know what the Bash do. The Bash. During your main phase, you can additionally normal summon a Goblin, sure. You can target 2 Goblins you control, and then make one the level of the other, gain the other the level. Wait, one? Both their levels combined? So, okay. You can make the monster become a level 3, or you can make both of them become level 6 to make a rank 6 Xyz. Sure. What the heck is this? I've not seen these goblins. While there are 3 or more Xyz materials are attached to monsters in the field, goblins can attack directly. What the? And then once per turn, if a monster is summoned while this is in the into the regular monster zone, you can target one of those monsters, detach one material from a monster on either field. If you do, change the monster's battle position. That's not that crazy. When the opponent declares an attack, you detach a material to then negate the attack. Huh? My monsters are here. What the? We're attacking directly. What the hell? That's like a ninja effect. The ninjas attack directly, not goblins. Goblin attack directly. Wow. I feel like later I have to rewatch the whole Book of Eclipse situation. I'm a bit confused on what was going on here. We Protoss called, we swung into a face down Gossip, and then it flipped face up. We swung into a face down Crazy Beast. The Crazy Beast was not destroyed. Why wasn't Crazy Beast destroyed by battle? What was protecting it? If a monster would be destroyed by card effects, you could detach a material. If this card's in the graveyard, once per turn, was it the trap that protected it? Torpedo Xyz protected it, but there was no Torpedo Xyz on it. It was face up after the attack. The full armor? I don't think so. The full armor was after it's already face up. Oh, okay. We damage step equipped it. Okay, I understand now. All right, we damage step equipped it. There you go. And the monster was protected from destruction off of this, right? If the monster would be destroyed, you could destroy the card instead. Interesting. Damage step equipped because it modifies the attack. All right, yeah, now I understand. Inheritance is here. Get inheriting. This is generally ash bait. I think so. There are sometimes it will work. Sure. Sometimes good ash bait is sometimes not bait. But in this instance, I think that we could have gone without negating. We're going to additional summon. This is full combo, but we got Max C. So there you go. Got him. Any Elder plus Spiritual Beast is full combo to make Wham Bam Thinking Ma'am. So to stop Ritual Beast, you want Max C. You want Droll. You want Nibiru. There are anti-Nibiru lines, but no one's doing them in Master Duel. Or you want Lancia. Lancia is so heavily focused on just Ritual Beast. What else would Lancia even be good against? So probably not worth it. Droll would be another good card to use in addition to Max C if you're losing a Ritual Beast. Special Summon the Terror Top, searching for the Take Tomborg. We do have that Book of Eclipse to full field flip face down, which is great in Ritual Beast because you could fuse your face down cards. Now the Totem Bird negates the Book of Eclipse, mate. Just like that. Now another card people are recommending is Alucard. Is Alucard better than Totem Bird? Alucard could activate to pop a set card in the field. Detach a material, pop the set, but then they could maybe just activate their Book of Eclipse right then and there. And even with the Alucard flipped face down, you can still detach materials off of it with cards like the Goblin Charger. But Totem Bird, also very good. We're now going to Merciless while in the grave, detach an Xyz material to Reborn from the graveyard. A big way to screw up in this deck is the Xyz Armor Fortress, forgetting that it cannot be used as material for an Xyz summon while it has a material. You can't Zeus over it, you can't Dark Knight Lancer over it, you can't use the Xyz Armor effect to make a play over it, so you try to get this to 0 materials. We have Goblin Biker Big Bagonga. Bagonga search our deck for a charger which could detach the final material off of the Xyz Armor Fortress, which is a priority here. Then we're going to be searching our deck for a Goblin Spell and Trap because an Xyz material is detached. The Gabonga now triggers to suck up a monster. Thank you very much. As we search for the Grand Bash. We are now Grand Bashing Bob Boost. We're going to further Xyz us up into it, a Utopia Ray Lancer. We're now going to use the Xyz Armor to again equip and think about what just happened here. We discarded the full armored Xyz to use its in-grave effect. Otherwise, we didn't have a good way to get into the grave. So to even summon this, you have to discard a card to then rank this up over. Your opponent's monsters lose 500, and at the start of the battle phase, you non-target, negate the effects of all attack position monsters your opponent currently controls. Full, negate, mate, activate, get, reduce, and Book of Eclipse, Totem Bird, negate. I don't think so. No full flip. Crazy. Over 10,000 damage. Absolute mad lad. Goblin Biker having a great, I mean, we max seed. To be fair, we did max seed. And just like that, lethal damage. Goblin going to top 8. I will be following this deck, definitely. I want to play that. This is an interesting version of Goblin. It is definitely beyond, yeah, it's not being played this way on the site. So it's going to be good. I don't think we have any tournament decks for Goblin Biker. Wait, this is the TCG, OCG. Let's look on the Master Duel here. I don't think it's topped the tournament yet, has it? No, it has not. So looking like this, the normal people that are playing this, they're not playing the one that allows you to attack directly. That crazy Goblin. They're also, the Grand Bash is mostly not being played. Well, 60% are actually playing it, so the majority are playing this. That is pretty cool. All right, let's keep on going. 2-0 on a Ritual Beast. Let's get popping off. So many random Snake Eye Fire King players on Protoss calling fire, and then they get clapped up. I love it. When do we plan on maxing, by the way, which we have a finger for, so not that big of a deal. Max C, finger the C, ain't no way, get out here. We have the Fire King Island, popping a fire to search for the Garunix. Because we popped a fire, the Garunix will now trigger. How does this deck disrupt? The Amble Whale could pop a card in the field if a link 3 or lower is destroyed in the field. We have Masquerena into Little Knight Banish. We have Promethean, which could pop a special summon. We then have the Arvata, which will be reborn from the graveyard. That's going to be another negate. We then have the Garunix, which is going to be using the effect of the Kieran to pop a card in the field. So that's about 6 disruptions, if I'm counting correctly. 6. Yep, let's go. Nightmare Pain, chain the Masquerena into Little Knight Banish. Don't mind if I do. Come forth into Little Knight. Lotterino, yeah, I'm thinking about making more YouTube shorts and maybe TikTok on some ruling specific stuff. Little Knight, goodbye to the Nightmare Pain. Triple Tactics talent. Now, what happens if you take control of the Fire Monster? By taking control of the Fire Monster, I now can't trigger my Garunix. I can't trigger my Promethean Princess. That would have been a much bigger deal than the Little Knight, no? I guess the Little Knight was also screwing us. Just make sure we don't special summon. We have the Dark Beckoning Beast searching for the Spirit Gate. We can additional summon as we do, as we now are triggering Promethean Princess. Are you ready? Promethean. Now, what happens if you Little Knight banish both of the cards? Well, that's a problem. You have nothing to destroy, thus you destroy nothing, you don't special summon, and the Sacred King Garunix does not trigger because no fire monster was destroyed. In fact, the Promethean Princess is worded very similarly to Ulti Hawk. Ulti Hawk says send them to the graveyard if at least one of the 2 cards is sent. In this case, if one of the 2 cards is destroyed, you do perform the if you do. So, Little Knight was actually a great steal. Wonderful. We didn't banish the Yama. Uh-oh. Whoops. Right? Where we, huh? Now there's gonna be a fire on fields. So now we have to deal with this. I guess if we have a way to deal with the Promethean Princess, it could be okay. I guess, yeah. So if we have a plan for that, then this is still okay. We still stopped a fire from being destroyed, but we didn't stop Promethean from being reborn. That's the problem. Reborn, sure, just don't destroy Promethean and we're okay. Now, 2,700 is a magical number. It's so much more magical than 26. What's the difference between 26 and 27? 27 turns the magical number of 4 attacks for game into 3. 3 27s is 8,000. So 3 Yubels, we win. That's it. Can we do it? Let's do it. Make a Yama. Just battle into it. Yup. Can we get triple Yubel? Yubel 1. So 2 more Yubels and we win. 1 more Yubel and we win. 1 more. Summon a Yubel. We got 2 Yubels. That's it. 3, 27, lethal damage. That's exactly what you need. What do we have after 2 attacks? We're at 26. Bam. Just like that. Triple attack for game. So we actually played this perfectly. Yep. There were concerns on, oh my gosh, should have taken the fire. Nope, fine. And there's concerns of, oh, we should maybe not have let the Promethean be summoned. Nope, that's also perfect. 27, get them to self-lethal themselves. Very well done, perfectly played. Good job, realist go, planned out everything. Cosplay, Crowler, done. Just 3. This is something that you should really think about. If Pot of P did not have the ability to banish 6, if it said only banish 3, would it still be a good card? You have to think about this with your deck, because I think people linearly think, I don't have 6 cards to banish, so I'm not going to play this. But what about 3? Well, is 3 worth it? I think it is. Pot of Duality is crazy. If it didn't have that summon restriction, that's essentially what this is. Just 3. Let's go. Come to me, Kieran off the top of the deck. Why didn't we Flame Burst, put the Masquerade in the back row? We are able to Amble Whale Reborn it. So there you go. And we don't have the Snake Eye field spell, and we don't have Snake Eye Flame Burst in the field to then summon it from the back row. So that's the reason why. So if the Amble Whale is destroyed, even by your own Promethean, Reborn Masquerina. So that's going to be now this is going to be multiple disruption. So we have negate, negate, negate on the Apollo USA. We have Amble Whale Reborn the Masquerina, which is a banish, banish. We have Amble Whale pop a card in the field, so that's 1, and then Promethean. We then have Arvata. We then have Garunix and Akirin. That's 9 disruptions without even considering the DD Crow and the Call by the Grave. 9. Let's go. 9. I don't think we can play through 9. And what did we talk about the issue with game 1? We didn't have Kieran in the hand. So they were much more easily able to manipulate our field and ensure our Garunix does not get summoned by not destroying our fire monster. Now they can't play around that because we can, whenever we want, use that Kieran to get popping. We're gonna Call by the Grave, finger that Spirit of Yubel. It is now negated for the rest of the turn, including the very next turn if you wanted to summon it from the hand. And we didn't even consider that as one of the main 9 disruptions. So 10 from 9, let's say, as we de-Lotus, link off, not activate de-Lotus summon from the deck, as make an Almirage. This tells me we want to make a Little Knight. Well, I don't want you a Little Knight. I'm going to Kieran, get poppin', trigger Garunix, trigger the Amble Whale, Reborn the Masquerina, and our other disruptions are going to start happening. Let's go. Masquerina is here. We're not linking off yet. Garunix Reborn, pop from the deck, our second copy of Kieran, our final one. Kieran's gonna Reborn, pop a card in the field, boom, we're now down to 8 disruption. Masquerina into a Little Knight on summon is gonna be our 8th disruption. Activate, get banishing, all just so the opponent can't summon their own Little Knight. Now we're down to 7 disruption. We're gonna chain summon the Squirmer. Apollo USA, we're now down to 6 disruption. 6 disruptions left. And we scooped. Well, 2 could play that game. Yubel could set up 9 to 10 disruptions also. Let's just do that ourselves. Let's go. Let's go. We do have Ash for the Max C though. Ash, our Ash, negate your throne. Negate. So now we can't Ash negate the D-Lotus. And we are probably trying to stop this from searching for a D-Lotus. Let's talk about this. We have untargetable Apollo, no imperm will be usable on it. It's a triple monster negate plus a 4th negate on the Phantom of Yubel. And the Escape of the Unchained is dead. We don't have an Unchained monster, but the Elf can reborn it. But it can only reborn it if the opponent controls a monster. Otherwise, we cannot reborn that Soul of Rage. Let's say there's a monster, because there will be. Then we're gonna have Escape pop, and then reborn the Soul of Rage again through the Yama, to then link off, to then Little Knight banish, then Little Knight banish. This is 8 disruption through, we had what? Max C, Ash, and Ogre. You know, we were able to negate the Max C though. Let's go. Can we stop 8? Probably not. Negate with the Apollo, chain Max C. So now the Apollo can't negate that Max C within the same chain, but the Phantom of Yubel can. Negate. Spright Elf, reborn the Soul of Rage, which cannot link off with the Snake Eye Ash because it is not special summoned, but we could pop it with the Escape of the Unchained possibly to stop the Ash from summoning Eponyx from the deck. Is that what we want to do? Well, at the moment it can't. It needs another face-up card to even do that. We don't care. We're going to pop you right now. We ain't waiting. Maybe they have an original Sinful in the hand. They now can't use it. So we're now down to 5 disruption. Yeah, let's go. Yubel. After my favorite duel of the 3, it was game 1. That perfect manipulation of ensuring that a fire monster would not be destroyed. We did so with the help of a triple tactics talent, to be fair, but it was still very well done. Good job, Realist Go and Doggy. Thank you to both of you. Let's keep on going. Reinforcement of the army. Let's reinforce our hand with the Stratos. Stratos is going to be met with our Dimension Shifter. In case you maybe had a Gamma, we're going to wait. And also, chaining the Veiler to the Dimension Shifter cannot be used in the other way. That is good. Very well done. Or otherwise, the Veiler would be turned off, and the Veiler also turns off the Dimension Shifter. So we set a droplet. As I said, it's dead. It's no good. We do just have Ash. Ash is our only play. So Ash onto... nope. Okay, sure. Flip that up. Are we going to be Ash on the Sang and Summoning? Activate... Nope. Okay. We're going to be Ashing the Kaimin, maybe. Kaimin. Come forward, Chandra. Special Summon. Battle Phase. All right, summon for the deck. Ashable, right? Nope, can't Ash it because it's at the start of the damage step, thus you cannot Ash. If the Fadra activates at the start of the damage step, can we use the other hand trap, Ghost Bell? Yes, Ghost Bell can be used in the damage step. Ash cannot. They are different. Swing into the Stratos. We want to get 3 attacks off so that we could Reborn our Biden or Transcendent from the graveyard, but there's nothing that could even go into the grave. So what do? Do we have enough for lethal if we can't Reborn with the Fadra, nor Reborn itself through the Biden, or even Reborn the Transcendent Dragon? Of course we have lethal, as we simply make a Trident Dragon. Trident, pop field spell. What's that? 6,000, 2 attacks. Boost, lethal damage. No shifter, but there's Nibiru. But when's Nibiru against heroes can be confusing. Gamma negates not the Stratos, but chain Maxi to draw just 1, not 2. Activate Fusion Destiny. Now, the problem with this is if we Nibiru a DPE, DPE will just pop itself and then come back during the next turn ready to non-target pop a card in the field. And holy moly, royal. That is looking great. Shine. Is my shine broken? There you go. Now, what do we do from here? We're going to now Nibiru. I'm going to DPE, non-target pop. We pop in. I think this is bait. Because a normal play, what you would do is, so this is actually what we're gonna do. Omni Reborn, playing this perfectly. The plan was always to pop the Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. We weren't passing on it. We were just gonna do it outside the main phase, because if you activate the DPE to pop up the Wake Up Your Hero and then they chain Nibiru, you lose and you are now not a good hero player. But by waiting for the end phase to do it instead, you can now chain it to the Nibiru, and now look what's gonna happen. We're going to summon a Shadow Mist from the deck, and we got to draw 2 off of the Nibiru. Shadow Mist will be searching for a mash change, and now we could set the mash change or just activate it outside of the main phase, maybe the end phase we wanted. Now all your cards will be banished instead of being sent to the grave. And now we have Dark Angel. See, we still planned on making plays in the main phase. You need to understand that we said to our opponent, I want to end my turn. And only then did they say Nibiru. And now after telling your opponent that I want to end my turn, you're now saying, just kidding, I'm not ending my turn, I'm going to retain the main phase. That is exactly what happened. Magna Hut is banishing the DPE, which is quite devastating actually. It wanted to come back during the next turn, but we are summoning our Dark Law. Anything sent to the graveyard will be banished instead. All these summons under Max C, we drew for Gamma, Nibiru, and Magna Hut. Draw 4 on our first turn. What is going on? Give them the Dark Angel. Now, Dark Angel is going to stop the opponent from activating spells. When a spell card effect to activate resolves, negate that effect if you do, or if you did not have an effect, destroy that card. So there you go, but you could just send it to the graveyard. We could link off with it. We're not done drawing under Max C. Are you freaking kidding me? Now, Dark Law's triggering to get rid of that Droplet. Say goodbye to Droplet. We drew 5 cards. We're now drawing 6 cards. 6 cards under a turn 1 Maxi on your own turn? What the? Wow. Summoning 6 times on your opponent's first turn. Did Tier Limit even do that many summons? We're gonna Favorite Contact. Come forth the Fusion Summon with the Banishment Pile we're going to use here to summon the Neos Wingman. Neos Wingman's going to non-target pop cards on the field per different attribute. There's a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, wipe out all 3. You can't use the Kaiman. Well, now you can because you linked off with the Dark Angel into a Little Knight. Little Knight's not activating on Summon because we didn't make something like an Anima or a Link Karibo, which we didn't have a play to do so. We couldn't do it. We're going to Chundra at the start of the damage step, summon for the deck of Pydra. Pydra searching for a Kaiman. Take out that Denier. Now at the Kaiman, we're going to be searching our deck. We're going to first Synchro Shokan into a Yubel. Yubel on summon, pop a card in the field. Can't be popped. This cannot be destroyed by card effects. We tried to anyway. That's fine. Goodbye to the Dark Law. Now what's unfortunate is if we summon a Fadra from the deck, Fadra has nothing to reborn because all our cards got banished due to that freaking Dark Law. The Dark Law got us good. This is our end? This is not good. That's a problem. Now, Denier is going to be reborning itself from the graveyard here, just like that, returning back a Malicious, which we now have 3 copies of. We also have 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Let's Polymerization. Now, as much as I want to be rooting for heroes here, which I still am, do understand we drew 6 cards because of Max C. That's why we have so much resources here. Vision Hero Trinity. Trinity, boost, 5,000 attack, triple attack onto monsters only, but we're going to take control of that monster. And we're going to Kaiman at the start of the battle phase. Ash Blossom, negate. That single Kaiman could have really screwed things up. We could have summoned a Transcendent. Transcendent could pop another card in the field. 8,800, lethal damage with heroes, taking this into game 3. Do we need D-Shifter to beat heroes? We're holding it. We're holding it. Veiler, finger the Veiler, and then we have Max. Perfect. Protect your C. Protect it. It's now protected. There you go. Most other players would have used their Maxi early. It would have been fingered. They would have played right through the Veiler, as it would negate the Stratos, and then you now lose a duel that was completely winnable by just holding on to your C. Protect it. Grab a Vian. Vian is here. What do we do under a Maxi? I think we would at least Fusion Destiny, then maybe end our turn. Vian is going to be banishing the Mist. Mist now can't be searching for a Mash Change. We are still Polymerizing under Max C. Oh boy, I mean, we search for favorite contacts. 1 draw for 1 disruption. I think that's mostly fair and worth it. We're not just drawing 1 disruption, we're also going to be drawing 2 and discarding. Okay? At least Fusion Destiny. This makes sense. This is fine. Gets the Elemental Hero into the graveyard so we could summon the Divine Neos. So what are our disruptions here? We have non-target pop, and we have the contact to non-target pop more cards. So pop, 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 pop. 2 disruption plus a Max C, and they did not draw into their own Ash or Finger. Oh boy, they still don't have it. And D-Shifter late to the party, 1 card in the grave. Because that 1 Max C's in the grave, we now cannot use D-Shifter. Chundra. In response to Chundra, we're going to Max C right away. Chundra special summon Chundra to battle phase. If they activate the start of the damage step, we cannot chain the DPE. We're going to attack with the other Chundra as the DP already activated. In the start of the damage step, we're going to set up this Sangan summoning, which we could pop within the battle phase. Sure, let's double swing. Let's Chundra activate Synchro Shokan into a Meteor Burst Dragon. Now that this has been summoned, your opponent cannot activate monster effects during the battle phase. So the favorite contact summoning the Shine on Neos, no poppage. So our 1 disruption's now gone. It's nothing. We're going to Kaiman. Still flip up the favorite contact. Now the favorite contact effect is fully intact, activatable, will fully resolve. But beyond that, we just have the Neos Wingman. Now, the Neos Wingman is at 4,900 and cannot be destroyed by card effects. Fadra being summoned off of the Kaiman. Genroku, this is a very important play. If you have an extra Tenpai on your hand, you want to Kaiman search for Genroku, and then, because a lot of people, they think Kaiman summons the monster you search. That's not true. You search and then you summon whatever you want. So to get rid of that extra Tenpai in your hand, you search Genroku, summon the extra body, then trigger Genroku to summon the Genroku. That's how you get a dead card out of your hand. Let's go. Come forth Genroku as a level 4 tuner, by the way. Again, Roku can't activate in the battle phase to perform a synchro summon. It's only the other Tenpais that could do that. We're now going to Chandra, Synchro Shokan, into a Biden Dragon on summon, reborn from the graveyard, Meteor Burst is locking out any hand traps from being activatable. How do we deal with an indestructible by card effects Neo Swingman? We're going to summon from the deck a Pydra. Pydra is going to activate the Synchro Shokan into a Transcendent Dragon. Transcendent is here as we are going to change the DPE into attack position. What you would normally do is pop your field spell with Biden. Pop field spell will double the Transcendent to 6,000 attack, right? But DPE screwing this up. So 4,000 attack versus 49, that's no good because of the freaking DPE. What do we do here? We didn't even pop the field spell. We're making a Trident Dragon. Trident Dragon is still not big enough to take out the Neo Swingman. it's 4,000 attack. Okay, you're still 4,000. You cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if we swing this in, it then reborns in the graveyard to non-target pop it. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. Holy crap, this is crazy. It had the other effect. What is this? If it destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage equal to the monster's original attack. Ain't no way. Comboed up with DPE, we could not out the Neo Swingman. Let's go. What should we have done? What could we have done? If we're not locked in a dragon, which again, Roku and the Biden effect of reborning from the grave, they lock you into dragon. Now again, Roku summon from the hand. You're not locked in a dragon until again, Roku summons the deck. You would have to make the Samurai Destroyer. Samurai Destroyer could have negated the boost, the reduction that is that DPE was inflicting on all of your monsters. And then within the battle step, you could perform all your other synchros while you're no longer reduced, or you could Samurai Destroyer, swing into the Neo Swingman. Now, the SAMD, incorrectly, we were saying that it could still be destroyed. I think there's a ruling discrepancy or potentially a bug in Master Duel where it has to remain on the field because it's being ruled differently on EDO Pro and also, I believe, in Duel Links. So, but within the battle step of attacking into the Neo Swingman, it can be destroyed. So within that battle step, you could make a Transcendent. If you can get the Transcendent into the graveyard, then reborn it and then pop it while you're in that attack window of the Samurai Destroyer. That's how you would deal with it. Otherwise, Moonlight. A lot of people are not playing Moonlight, and I think you got to because not being destroyable by card effects, the QE belt is not enough. So let's look at the analytics on the Moonlight real quick to see how many mad lads are not playing it. Moonlight, it states, return the target to the hand. So Terahertz is indestructible thanks to a Firewall Defensor. You want Moonlight. The Neos, that's going to become more prevalent because heroes got unbanned. You're going to want the Moonlight. Let's scroll down and see. 34% because the QE belt is being played instead when I think it should be played with it. It's not peanut butter or jelly, it's peanut butter and jelly that you should be considering. See, 80% usage, definitely taken away from the Moonlight usage. Put this in, you need it. Spirit of Yubel, Dark Beckoning returned back, so we could hard summon our Phantom of Yubel to negate a monster effect. Not that we had one activatable. And now let's speed this up. And with that, we have a ton of disruption. Triple, quadruple monster negate, link off with a special summon, plus banish, that's 7 disruption, plus the escape. 8 disruption plus, let's just say the Call of the Grave is another form of disruption. So 8 disruptions for Labyrinth to play through. Can they do it? Probably not. Wow, set 3 end. Escape in the end phase, taking out the big welcome. Soul of Rage is going to trigger to add back the D-Lotus. We didn't even trigger the Yama. We let Yama stay untriggered, sure. We're going to normal summon the D-Lotus to make a Chaos Angel on summon. We get to banish. Let's banish the Black Goat last, which will declare a monster name. Spirit of Yubel cannot be special summoned for the rest of the turn. That's it. It's not activate, it's cannot special summon. We're now going to Grave Squirmer, reborn from the graveyard. Spirit of Yubel, searching our deck for a second copy of the Nightmare Pain. Pain, pop Spirit, grab Squirmer, trigger Spirit, trigger the Throne. Summon 2 bodies onto the field, which the Squirmer can also special summon. We're going to call by the grave, banish the Spirit of Yubel. Get that trash out of here. Wait, what happened here? Did he? I thought he couldn't summon. Spirit of Yubel is considered Yubel. Wait, it's for, oh, graveyard counts? Except the graveyard. Okay, except the grave, except the grave. All right, it can be, except that little point, Spirit of Yubel could still be summoned just from the grave, Otherwise, it could not be special. Yep, okay. Add the Terra Incarnate, summon, Spirit of Yubel, negated by the Call of the Grave. Grave Squirmer, special summon, pop the Terra Incarnate. So what should we have called with the Black Oat Laughs, since they could have still summoned Spirit of Yubel from the graveyard? You gotta remember that with the Black Oat Laughs, that it's only stopping monster effects on fields, and it's only stopping special summon from everywhere except the grave. So it's not the most perfect counter to everything. To battle phase we go, 9,300, lethal damage. Let's get to it, let's do it. Finish him off through a Black Oat Laughing. Damn. What should we have called the Black Oat? Damn. Bro, what? T-set? Huh? Not even activate the furniture, discard set? I mean, we already have a big welcome and a welcome. So, okay, all right. What? Dark Beckoning Bee searching for the opening of the Spirit Gates. We're gonna welcome Labyrinth, summon from the deck into a Lovely. So if you held on to Ash because you learned that Ash should only be used on Big Welcome, you now can't Ash the Big Welcome because under her dress, she has the secret effect of you cannot chain monster effects to traps. So just like that, we're gonna summon from the deck and then pop a card in the field or in the hand. Let's see what happens. Spirit Gates, searching for the Dark Beckoning. Dark Beckoning on the field allows the additional summon of a Deed Lotus. We're not using the Big Welcome yet. We're holding on to it. We're going to Spirit of Yubel, set up a Nightmare Pain. So Spirit of Yubel would have not been summonable from the deck under Black Oat Laughs. We're going to summon from the deck with our Big Welcome into an Ariane. We're going to draw a card and also pop a card on field or in the hand. We're going to take out that Nightmare Pain. We're not waiting, randomly drawing into an Arius and then additionally summoning it. Now, Arius could special summon a Fiend from the hand. Ideally, it would set a trap from the hand because then that trap would be activatable the turn it's set. So what exactly is this scenario? This scenario is Labyrinth getting cooked. Labyrinth is gonna lose this 100%. This is nothing. Didn't really accomplish much here. The best thing they accomplished is it requires 5 Yubels to attack for game because there isn't 2,000 attack or defense on field. Now we have Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel on summon, banishing that one of Lovely Labyrinth. And now you could play the Chimera Fusion to get it back. Wait, this is Plunder Labyrinth. What the heck? 2 duels in a row and I did not get to see you whip out your Plunder. It's Odds. Odds is the Plunder Labyrinth player. Damn. Odds, I'm so unhappy that we didn't get to see your Plunder plays. It did get you into the top 16, but we just didn't see it within the top 16. Very unfortunate. I will still be copying your deck though. Thank you. Odds, your D is mine. Branded lost into the Cartesia. The activation of this fusion cannot be negated, but the effect can be negated though. We have Grand Granule. We also can't chain to the summon of the Grand Granule. We're protected because the fusion was on Chain Link 1. We're gonna grab an Albion Shrouded Dragon as the Grand Granule sends from the deck a Serenir. Serenir send from the deck a Branded Fusion here as the Shrouded Dragon sends a Retribution to then grab that Branded Fusion back. Haven't seen Branded in a while. What's going on? Wait, we just got buffed. Branded opening went from 1 to 2 in today's events. We got double opening, which maybe not that big of a deal. Albion is going to fuse with the graveyard, banishing to summon our Lubellian Searing Dragon. On summon, discard a card to fuse with the banishment or grave here as we make a Mirror Jade. We're going to tribute off the Albion for a Lubellian. We already have the Branded Lost. We're not playing the Branded Beast. We're setting up the Brightest Blazing Branded King. This card is a full field negate. Negates everything but your Branded Fusion. And we have the Mirror Jade. And we have the Mercurier. So we have about triple disruption here. We also have an Albaz in the graveyard, so that's a 4th disruption because we could reborn it to fuse with their field. So 4. Let's go. Oh, I remember Hyperia. Draw a card, reborn it with Spright Elf. We're going to non-target monster banish. Into now we have 3 disruption. We have the Golden Droplets summoning the Huggin. Do we negate with the Mercurier? Wait, Huggin didn't activate. We're going to now finger the Rinbrum, attempting to reborn the Albaz to fuse the field after we summon a carrot. So we're now down to 2 disruptions left, and the carrot can negate the Brightest Blazing. Special summon the Jet. We're going to Mercourier, negate the Jet from searching for the card we already have in our hand. So that was a big bait. Took that bait. We're now down to just the Brightest Blazing left. Special summon. Hey, that's the card I negated you from searching. Summon a blue. Blue, search for the red. Look at the resilience of Spright being able to play through disruptions. It's absolutely absurd. Now, it's important to note we do not have a battle phase. Gigantic Spright is here. Detach material, summon from the deck, the Cap Shell. Cap Shell is here. We're going to be linking off into a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, get banishing, and the Cap Shell is going to draw 1 card. We keep on drawing as we target the Mirror Jade to banish it, as we chain the Brightest Blazing to negate everything but the Mirror Jade. As we said, the carrot negates the Brightest Blazing mate. Negate all of our disruption. We're now down to 0. 0 disruption, and Spright is still cooking. Absolutely insane. And we also negate the Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade's activating to wipe out all opposing monsters during the end phase. Since they do not have a battle phase, that would have definitely been a relevant effect. As now further Shokan this up into Spright Elf. And we do have a finger for the Elf. So I guess we kind of have that extra random disruption if we consider this to be one. Goodbye to that Spright Red, definitely relevant. Orphan Crippler with that gifted sub, I appreciate that greatly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bunish. Now, oh, wow, we end our turn. We just have a carrot. Now, the Elf should have been able to reborn the red for another form of disruption, but that is now gone due to that finger. So fingering right there and extending into the next turn. Thus, we just have the carrot and the Max C. We're going to Cartesia Special Summon, chain Max C to it. We don't have the field spell for Runic to randomly draw into Runic cards to be activatable during the opponent's turn here. We do have a called by as the Elf reborns the Jet to search for a card during the next turn to be used, the Spright starter. Not enough to end this duel, unfortunately. Clean up the Elf, take out the carrot and also the Jet. Now we have an open field, but because we're under Max C, we don't want to make any big plays with Cartesia Fuse. Off the top of the deck, Runic Flash Fire, special summon a Runic into a freaking Max C. So now we're in this weird scenario where do we hug in, discard our Spright starter, or do we just use the Spright starter? So we don't have another card in the hand to discard. Finger the C. Maybe it possibly could have been an option to not finger the C. So we're not summoning a Huggin, we're gonna go into a Sleipnir instead. Summon for the deck are blue. Blue activates search for a Jet. And now we're in the main phase. Special summon the Jet. Jet search for a Smasher. And the Smasher is going to be a non-target banish of a card in the field as we make a gigantic Spright to then detach the summon for the deck and Hyperia to draw another card here. Lots of draw power as we Spright Elf it up. Spright Elf, activate, reborn from the grave, Cap Shell. Send Cap Shell to the graveyard to make a Little Knight. That's our second Little Knight. Trigger the Cap Shell, draw a card, Little Knight on summon, non-target, it is a target. Target banish the Cartesia. Cartesia, be gone. As we set 3 pass, we have a Flash Fire, pop a special summon. We have the Smasher non-target monster banish. We have the curses for a monster negate. We have Little Knight banish. We have Elf from the graveyard, reborn a carrot to negate a spell and trap. We have 5 disruption. Branded is struggling to break this field. Elf? So how can you Elf in the main phase if you do nothing? Only if the player says, I would like to end the main phase. So this was an attempt to enter the battle phase. Before that happens, reborn the Hyperia to draw a card. We're now going to trigger the effect of Grand Grenade because you summon a monster through a monster effect as you then chain the Little Knight to banish the Elf and the Lubellion. So we're now down to 4 disruption. We actually lost a disruption because we didn't reborn the carrot. So we're just 3 disruption here. The Guiding Quem is going to send from the deck to the graveyard as we negate with curses, negating both effects of the Quem. The Quem now cannot reborn in Albaz. So we're now down to 2 disruption. To battle we go, take out the Hyperia, not big enough to swing into Little Knight. End phase, we're going to use the Smasher. We're going to smash our Little Knight plus smash your Banishment as we're then left with our Flash Fire. The Banishment could have reborn something like a Mirror Jade if we were to have that in the graveyard. This is a problem. Every turn Elf reborning Hyperia, draw a card every turn. We have to put an end to this duel early. The longer this duel goes on, Spright Runic is going to be winning. Every turn, they are getting better and better by continually plussing. That's interesting. The Promethean Reborn Elf. Do we have another fire monster in the extra deck? We do not. So we're locked in a fire monster summoning only. Verte Anaconda. We could flash fire, pop that fool, but the Quem is going to trigger to Reborn from the grave. The Albaz, which will on-summon, discard the fusion deployment to fuse with the opposing field. Reborn the Elf. Come forth Albaz. Discard, get fusion. What do we do? Flashfire could pop the Anaconda to stop them from sending a branded fusion, or we could pop the Albaz to stop them from fusing with our field. One of our monsters on the field, that is, not both. We are going for the Albaz, and we're going to be banishing 3 cards off of the top of the deck. Just 2, that is. So goodbye to a Gold Sark, which is now semi-limited. Anaconda sending a Super Poly to fuse your field into a Mood Dragon. I think the branded fusion is in the graveyard, so the Anaconda could not have sent that. We're now going to be triggering the Promethean Princess, which you sent to the grave, to Reborn and get summoning as you then search for your Shrouded Dragon. Shrouded Dragon off of the search of the Branded Lost, going to send a Retribution. But we can't special summon for the rest of the turn because of the Anaconda. We're locked in. So even though the Retribution can add back the Branded Fusion, it's no good at the moment. Now we do have Branded in red. Within the draw phase, we're going to declare dark, so dark monsters will be untargetable from something like a Freezing Curses. So if we wanted to, we could have chained Tip, search for curses, then negate whatever you summon here, which would be the untargetable Mirror Jade for non-target monster banish. We have the Branded Loss. We're going to activate Mirror Jade in response to the loss. We're also in a window where the opponent cannot activate anything. As we non-target monster banish, get rid of the Promethean Princess, which would have reborned the Elf. Retribution, add back Branded Fusion, which will come and be used next turn. I don't know what to think of this in this duel. 8 turns, it's going back and forth. I was saying that Spright Runic was having the advantage the longer the duel goes on, but then Branded started cooking out of nowhere. Now, finally, on the 8th turn, we have our limited to 1 Runic Fountain. We're now drawing 3 freaking cards with no way to stop it. So it went from Spright Runic winning to Branded winning. Now I think Spright Runic is winning. We have Quem being summoned during the end phase to send from the decks of the Grave of Branded Sword, which could recycle a banished Albaz monster back to our hand. We're going to use the Flash Fire to take out the Quem, sure, as the Mood Dragon makes dark monsters untargetable, triggering the Runic Fountain again. So far with Runic Fountain, we've drawn 6 freaking cards. This is immensely disruptive. Now, the Gary cannot be destroyed by card effects, and if destroyed by battle, it will destroy any card on the field. We have the Albion Shrouded sending from the deck to the grave a second copy of the Branded Opening as we use the second one on the field right now into a max freaking C. 15 cards left in their deck. So do we try to deck them out? Well, we added the Alibur, we didn't special summon it, we special summoned Kit. We're going to Branded Banishment, come to me, as we now Branded Fusion send from the deck a Light and an Albaz into the Sanctifier Dragon. Triggering the Branded Loss, searching for a Shrouded Dragon. To battle we go. That will activate the Gary to pop a card in the field, taking out the back row Brightest Blazing, going in for a direct attack. We're going to activate the Runic Destruction, chain the Smiting Storm. What is going on here? 25 cards left in the deck. We're banishing off the top of the deck. We just banished 6 cards off the top and additionally banished 4. We banished 10 cards. What? We're going to activate Gamma to negate and destroy the Golden Sword Soul, which is triggering off of a face-up card being banished for 2 more bodies to block attacks. Oh my Jesus. Take out the driver, goodbye to the Gamma. Now we no longer had lethal damage because of that Golden Sword Soul activation. 15 to 13 cards left in the deck. We're gonna Curses, negate the Mirror Jade. Now the Mood Dragon will make it so dark monsters cannot be targeted, but you are already targeted, so that does not count. The Albion Sanctifier is already inherently untargetable, triggering the Fountain to draw 9 cards off of that Fountain. As we then tip into a Droplet, drop it, has them draw a card and banish 4. Draw 1, banish 4, 6 cards left in the deck. Dispelling, because you drew a card, randomly banish, an additional 2 cards off the top of the deck, 4 cards left. We're gonna be decking out. We got our deck pulsating at 4 cards left. Chaining Max C to the Sanctifier, reborning a body from my graveyard onto your side and my own, summoning an Albaz, then fuse with that Albaz, Shokan into a Boardlord Furious. Now, with Boardlord Furious, we could pop any card in the field, finally taking out the Fountain after it has already drawn 9 cards. We have 0 cards left in the deck. No! Deck out victory. Damn. That's nasty. That is so nasty. Let's go to game 2. Branded opening, chain Maxi to that opening, chain Ash to that Maxi, chain Gamma, chain Link 4 already on turn 1. Negate Ash's feet as we then successfully resolve the Maxi. Now, the opening does not have to special summon. It's optional. It happens on resolution, so we could add the card instead. We could thrust a card to our hand because you have Gamma on field with that triple tactics talent. The problem is, did this all happen in the main phase or the draw phase? So let's see that. This was in the standby phase. So that tactics talent is actually dead. We should have, if we knew we were going to maybe play, play around Gamma? What the heck? So we main phase so we could thrust to add to the hand to play around the Gamma? Yeah, that's something. Branded Fusion, send for the deck, Cartesia and Albaz, come forth Albion. I think if we had talent in the hand, we would have known to use it in the main phase, our branded opening instead. We are now going to Droplet summon a Huggin, all against an Albion Sanctifier. Albion Sanctifier could reborn from our grave the Albaz, then fuse the opposing field. Man, this is really unfortunate. That dead talent we added for no reason. Blue special summon, search for the Jet. Now is the time. We're going to get fingered. Because the Albaz got fingered, the Sanctify specifies that you have to summon both monsters. Since you can't special summon both monsters, you summon no monsters. Nothing gets summoned. Albaz is gone and negated for the next turn. We're going to grab a Spright starter with the Jet as we make a gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright, detach, summon for the deck, Hyperia, and now we start drawing. Every single turn, we could Elf, reborn the Hyperia to keep on drawing. Herald of the Pure Light is going to recycle back our Max C. Oh my gosh. So there's a play where you could Gigantic Sprite summon Max C from the deck and then add it back with the Pure Light, making Max C searchable. We are now following up Spright Starter into the Carrot. Let's link this off into Elf. Elf is going to be reborning from the graveyard our Pure Light as we smash. The untargetable Sanctifier has been non-targeted banished as we now set up our Runic Fountain. Now, Runic Fountain needs a Runic card. Hyperia reborn with Elf or Maxi drawing off a special summon can give us that Runic card randomly. So we're at least guaranteed to draw 1 here, and we're gonna see if it's a Runic card, how many cards will we be drawing off of it? 3. So we may be drawing 3 off of this Elf. And now, we know there's a triple tactics talent in the hand. It's public knowledge. We didn't summon the Elf. We summoned a Jet instead of randomly drawing to a Runic card. We're gonna grab a Spright Starter to more so guarantee our next turn play. Goodbye to the Carrot, which would have negated the triple tactics talent. Fully clean up that field. We can now look at the hand, return that starter back, and we're in a top deck situation. 2 Runic cards in the grave, Runic Field Spell, a randomly drawn Runic card turns into draw freaking 3. Yep, let's go. Was math in his favor though? Was that lucky? We're now drawing 3. Quem is gonna be reborning a Cartesia. Holy moly. This recall Judge IRL and the deck was not correctly cut. Yeah, wow. And not only are we drawing 3, we're now going to draw 6 because we can now trigger the field spell again during the opponent's turn. We're going to chain pop the Cartesia. Now, Cartesia is different than Albaz. Albaz has to be a fusion material off of its activation. The Cartesia does not. You can activate Cartesia and fuse with your other cards instead. Battle phase skipped. We have the Tip and the Slumber, as we will be triggering the Runic Fountain. But with nothing else in the field besides that Runic Fountain, it could be scary. We do have a Huggin. Branded Fusion, we're gonna chain the Runic Tip. So on the resolution of the Fusion Summon, we will be able to draw 2 if we want, or we could wait for a 3rd Runic Spell engrave. What do we do? Come forth, Mirror Jade. There's an Arc Lord Christia in the hand, by the way. What the hell? As we now Freezing Curses negate the Quem from reborning from the grave the Cartesia. We're going to Mirror Jade non-target monster banish our own Quem. Now, if we read a runic card, the runic card says you have to negate its effects, then banish 3 cards. So if you don't negate, you don't banish. You have to perform the when in order to banish. So if you're playing against runic and you really don't want your cards banished, just try to stop them from performing the effect before when. Goodbye, Quem. And there you go. No negate, no banish, but the field spell will still trigger. It does not matter. We're going to be targeting 3, return 3. Cartesia is going to chain, fusion, summon in response to the field spell, drawing 3. We do have the Runic Slumber, which could stop an attack within the battle phase as we make our Grand Grunol, keeping the Arc Lord Christia in hand. If Christia ever hits the field, neither player could special summon monsters, but it could get popped, or I should say negated by the curses. If it was special summoned, we could then pop it. We could tribute summon for it, though. Arc Lord Christia is tribute summonable, so we do have that open summon left. Do we normal summon Christia? No way, right? No freaking way. We're going to be grabbing back our branded in white chain Max C to the attempt to special summon. Of course, that goes through. White banish from the graveyard and Albaz as we then summon the Boardlord Furious. So there's a problem. The Boardlord Furious wants to destroy the field spell, but the Huggin protects the field spell from being destroyed, so we have to deal with the Huggin first. But if we deal with Huggin, then we try to destroy it, they could chain summon another Huggin to further protect the field spell. All right, take out the Huggin, trigger the Huggin, return back, attack, slumber. Well, because we did not Boardlord first, we waited for them to activate a runic card in the hopes that they do not have another runic card. So this successfully deals with the field spell. Damn, I mean, we tried to summon a Gary to block the attack. That was a big mistake, huh? Did we have to do this? Well, I mean, it adds back the field spell anyway. It adds it back, so it's not even a problem. Oh, sweet, I can now pop your field spell. Yeah, I'm summoning Gary to add it back. Ash negate the Albion, which is trying to set onto the field or add to the hand a branded spell. Not going to happen. Cartesia add back during the end phase. We did normal summon our Christia. Alrighty, as we now Spright starter special summon from the deck our blue. Blue, I choose you. Grab a jet from the deck. Boardlord Furious cannot destroy the Gary. We banished our own opening to protect ourselves from being destroyed by card effect. As we then Runic Tip a Flash Fire from the deck to our hand. We're going to be triggering the field spell after using the Flash Fire to take out the Boardlord Furious. 37 cards left in our deck. And it's worth noting, if we're decking out Branded, we're decking out a 60-card deck, by the way, as we then make our Spright Elf. Elf is here, Reborn the Hyperia, draw a card when it special summons, Grand Grunol trigger off of a monster being summoned from a monster effect. We're going to chain Max C as we summon a Quem from the deck. Quem send from the deck a Branded Sword, which can add back a banished Albaz monster as we now make a gigantic Spright. We're going to trigger the Quem to reborn the Quiritis. Quiritis can reduce the opposing field to 0 attack, but they have no battle phase anyway, so who cares? As we then make a Little Knight. Little Knight is untargetable thanks to the Elf. On summon, target the Quem to banish, chain Quiritis to reduce your attack. Didn't ask. As we say goodbye to that Quem permanently. Battle phase skipped. We do have 2 runic cards activatable to trigger the field spell and to negate a monster. We're going to chain the... You have to banish yourself now. You committed. You have to banish. I have nothing to banish. All right? I'm jumping. I'm outie. We out. Nope. Banish yourself. All right? Banishing the Mirror Jade. Goodbye. Branded Sword. Add back an Albaz monster. Come to me. Fallen of Albaz. Summon the Cartesia to attempt to fusion summon. It is a quick effect, but we initiated it, so they were able to Freezing Curses negate. Banish 3 cards off of the deck. Mate. We did not trigger the field spell, which is a good tell onto you that they have another runic card in their hand. They're going to summon the Sleipnir, trigger the field spell, return 2 cards. We had no way to chain link block. No block on the fountain, thus you're not going to be able to protect it from an Ash. Now the Sleipnir in the opponent's battle phase can banish itself plus another monster to further help protect us from being lethaled. Quiritis triggers when it leaves the field, though, to summon in Aluburst. So was the Sleipnir banishing the Quiritis a good idea? Probably not, as you now have a branded banishment to reborn from the grave a monster, like the Boardlord Furious. That could be a problem. If we had a Mirror Jade in the grave, that would also be rebornable. Everything returning back to the field during the end phase. We're going to banishment right now, summon the Boardlord, as the Smiting Storm is going to special summon a runic. Sure. Summon a Huggin to protect our field spell from the board load. Sure. But then I'm going to use your newly summoned Huggin for the resolution of the banishment to fuse into a Dragostapelia. Attempt to use the field spell to draw. We're going to use the board load Furious to pop it. And since you don't have another runic card to summon Huggin to protect the field spell from being destroyed, that's a problem. There's a lot of interesting rulings and back and forth and interactions here. I cannot believe this duel. We're going to be making a freaking Goddess. Goddess using the opposing field to make the Link summon. Now Goddess is able to negate every face-up monster the opponent controls on summon. So we are going to be activate, negate because of the token mate. As we now make another copy of Lil Knight, we have more than one Lil Knight on summon. Banish the Dragostapelia. Cap Shell trigger to draw a card. Hyperia, Cap Shell, Hyperia, Cap Shell. Draw, 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 draw. Field spell, draw. We're going to be negating the Alubur, attempting to reborn from the graveyard because Goddess has, once per turn, negate an attempt to reborn from the grave. Negate. Set the Runic Dispelling Pass. Now, with the Runic Fountain engraved, do we have a way to add it back? You always got to think about that. How do we recycle it? It's limited to 1 in TCG. They have it at 2. With 3 cards left in the extra deck, no more Gary. So no way to return back our Runic Fountain. This is where Runic's going to get a bit more desperate as they no longer can recycle their cards and continually draw. We're going to Super Poly, get Fusion, fuse away into Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is here, to battle we go. We're going to send to the grave to non-target pop, but it's unaffected unless you target it with a card effect. Since you did not target it, unaffected, as I said. Now, does that make that a mistake? No. We planned on suiciding, and we just wanted the Rinbrum in the graveyard, so that was correctly done. Lethal damage. Nicely, nicely done. Good job to both of you. I'd say both have a really good understanding of their decks. Yup, it does seem to be that way. I guess there was a sus moment with, trying to pop field spell in response to the Runic, then Gary just adds back when we knew that Gary was the best summon there anyway. Another moment where we wanted to summon the Huggin before the board load comes out, but then board load's being summoned through the banishment, so banishment's like, all right, thank you for the fusion material for free. But now we're going to take all that knowledge from game 1 and 2 into game 3. All right, let's get to it. Let's do it. Cap Shell, special summon the Carrot. We have no disruptions in sight from the Spright player as we're going to be popping off as we summon our Huggin to trigger the Runic Fountain for a simple draw 1. Very nice, grabbing our Runic card as we now Spright Elf. Trigger the Cap Shell, draw into a random blue, grab a Jet, special Jet, search for a Smasher. As we now exceed into Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright is going to summon for the deck Hyperia, draw again. So Cap Shell and Hyperia, draw 2 so far. Reborn the Cap Shell, making a Masquerena. And from that, we now pass to you with how many disruptions. We have Masquerena into Little Knight Banish. We have Smasher to non-target Banish. We have Ash Negate. We have Carrot to Negate. So that's about 5 disruptions. Let's go. Stigmata makes top-tier branded videos on YouTube. Well, make sure you check it out. Thank you very much. We have Alubur searching for a Brandon High Spirit. As the Carrot negates by sending the Cap Shell. Now, Cap Shell being tributed will draw a card. That's going to be a problem. Get drawing. And then the Elf could reborn Hyperia to draw an additional card. We're going to reborn the blue instead. Call by the Grave, finger the blue. So we still have Ash, Little Knight, and Smasher. Quadra disruption, and the Runic cards will very likely draw into more disruption. Smasher gets smashing as we are going to Golden Sword Soul. What the heck? When a monster declares an attack, so in the TCG, you have to activate this before even being able to respond with Smasher. So you get a more informed decision with the Smasher knowing that this is activating. On the attack declaration, you special summon this card from your hand. If you do, negate your own attack. Then if you control a fusion, you get to destroy the monster that declared an attack. Wow. Negating our own Alubur. Very cool. As we're going to be banishing that Golden Sword Soul, get that out of here. We have 3 cards left for Disruption, Retribution, adding back that Branded in High Spirits. As we then set it and end our turn. End phase, Runic Destruction, chain the Smiting Storm to banish 2 cards into 4 cards. So 6 cards, yeah. Stigmata's like, nah, I'm out. Runic Fountain's going to trigger. Dude's got Cap Shell, Hyperia, drawing multiple cards off the Runic Fountain. No, it's a snowball. It's too much to deal with. Thank you to both of you. You put up a great match in total. I'm loving it. Let's go on to the next match. Damn, that's going to be in top 8 now. Begin. Now, negating searching for Shivara is a big deal because you just cut them off from their escape. Escape pops cards on the field. And what does Voiceless Voice do? They set up continuous spell and traps that do not want to be popped by escape. So, great Ash. And let's see what we have here. You have D-Lotus negate a monster effect, Phantom of Yubel negate a monster effect. We have Apollo double negate, so that's 4 negates. And in the back row, the Eternal Favorite's nothing, but we do have the Ash Blossom. The Eternal Favorite could actually be something if you control Yubel. So we actually will be able to potentially fuse with the entire field by discarding a card. We do need to discard the Ash though, so it's kind of conflicting with the Ash being a form of disruption unless we are able to get another card in our hand. Let's see. Yeah, I'm out. We out. All right. Are you ready? Voiceless versus Yubel. Again, take 2, but this time we get to go first. But against an Ash and an Impermanence, can we play through double disruption? No, we can't play through 1. We lose to just one of them being activated. We're going to Ash, negate the Diviner, mate. So why not Imperm over Ash? If you Imperm over Ash and then they have a Sarvis, which they generally do play 2, or they could have a Trias, they would then be able to dodge the Imperm or negate it, and then you'd be like, okay, now I want to Ash. No, you can't then Ash. So if you Imperm first, you turn off Ash. If you Ash first, they negate the Ash. You could then add an Imperm to it. So in a way, that is safer. Now, there are downsides of activating Ash first over Imperm, and that is you play into something like a Triple Tactics talent, which is not here. There we go. Negate. Back to you, mates. What do we have here off the top of the deck? A Nightmare Throne, a really good top deck as we search for our Dark Beckoning Beast. Summon the Dark Beckoning. We're not going to be imperming that because it could be reborn with the Spirit Gates. As we thrown into the D-Lotus, additional summon. If you imperm the D-Lotus, we'll very simply reborn it back with the Spirit Gate, so it's not a good negate. If we try to negate this with the imperm, they do have a Grave Scormer to chain pop and dodge the imperm. So all these imperms are just not good. No imperm, no imperm, no imperm. We pop the Spirit with the Nightmare Pain, triggering the field spell, and the Spirit of Yubel to summon 2 bodies on the field. Come forth and summon. Goes to the hand first, then summon, special summon a Yubel. Further link this up into a Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep wants to be pointing to a fusion. Now that we're pointing to a fusion, on special summon, reborn from the grave, as we further make a Chaos Angel, forcing the activation of the Impermanence. Imperm, negate the Chaos Angel, and now it is just not banishing, sure. You could send it to the graveyard and then reborn it with Muckraker, and it will be able to banish again, but Nibiru is going to tribute up that field just like that after 5 summons, giving them a 3100 defense token. Because the Diviner was tributed, it triggers to summon a low from the deck to set up a Barrier of the Voiceless to be used next turn. As we discarded Reborn, the Spirit of Yubel, we're going to use the Spirit Gates to add back another Spirit Gate, special summon the Squirmer, pop the Spirit of Yubel, trigger Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel from the deck or grave. We're then going to be linking this off into a Yama. Yama is here on summon, searching for our Shivara. We're going to use the Squirmer to reborn or summon from the hand a Spirit of Yubel here. Shivara pop Spirit of Yubel to then summon itself, locking us in a Fiend only while it's face up to then summon a Yubel. As you then use the token and the Yama to make an Anguish. Anguish could link off with an opponent's monster. The monster is targetable because the barrier only protects you while you have a Ritual plus low. What did I say with the Muckraker? Muckraker, Reborn Chaos Angel, mate. First, we're going to link off with the Nibiru into our Access Code Talker. 5,300 attack. Get ready as we then summon a Phantom of Yubel. Discard, reborn the Chaos Angel. It's activatable, mate. Yup. Why didn't you let us at least see it activate? So just so you know, to believe me. When special summoned, you would have to say if synchro summoned to activate, and not hard once per turn. So if you could summon this 10 times, it banishes 10 times. 2-0. Let's go. That is the conclusion of the top 16. We'll be advancing to the top 8 in the next video, as we're going to be starting off with Heroes versus Yubel. I'm ready, you're ready, let's get to it. Let's do it.